check my title. I always gotta run check. Boy, I will misspell something on a good day or a bad day, so I always gotta check my titles. I love misspelling. I don't know what. Just the older I get, the less I care. I don't care about your speech. I don't care about spelling and grammar and how words are used and King's language and all that. But I always got to check it. I always got to look up there and check and make sure. Let me see. That's spelled Y, false, flag, Eries, matter. Okay, looks good. Looks good. I think I might be okay. Good morning. I want to talk about false flags today. Lies, popular lies. We lie to each other, we lie to everybody else. Good morning, Linda, how are you doing? Whether or not the kings and the lords have stopped lying to us, are they still lying? The lie apocalypse stop after the Middle Ages, or they still lying? That's the funniest thing sometimes I think about it. You know, people come to work and it's like, oh, my husband was lying. He's lying about this and lying about that. They lying, this lying. My girlfriend lying, my sister lying, my kids lie, everybody lying. I was like, oh, girl, I was lying. Everybody lying. But all of a sudden it comes to their politicians, their presidents, their prime ministers. Oh, nope, they don't never lie. Nope, they don't never get it wrong. They're always right. They're right. Yep. ISIS has to be in the caravan. I seen them, you know, and it's just like, oh, Lord. But I want to talk about false flags today. I think it's important. I think that we, as a species on this planet, we have to accept that we're always lied to. Because they need dummies. They need us. War, death, and destruction. Always need some dummies. Always need some well, not dummies. Wrong word, I'm sorry. Always need some gullible people to just jump right in. The delicious lies, chew them up. Go out and start a war on them. I had a bunch of stuff this morning. But all the people can lie. Our leaders, they don't lie. They're always telling us the truth. Why? Because I voted for them. That means they can't lie. It's impossible. It's impossible. They can't lie because I voted for them. Nope, they can't lie. They were born in my country. So obviously, everybody knows that. Come on, wake up. You know, they were born in my country. They got my skin color. They're my political party. They're my religion. So they wouldn't lie to me to start a war. But that's what they always do. But good morning, everybody. All right, for some reason, I can't get my thing to do what I want it to do. I always playing with my devices. Good morning, Ivana. Wi-Fi is down. Trish, good morning. In your neck of the woods. Good morning. Good morning, Lee. Good morning, Mags. All right. Yeah, it looks like my Wi-Fi is acting up again this morning. They don't like it. Somebody don't like it. I want to talk about the... I seen Cat come in the room. I'm not even gonna say anything. It's funny to me. Boy, they like to delete profiles. That's all I'm gonna say. They like to delete profiles. Good morning. It's like, I don't know even who's here. Looks like the thing might be acting up a little bit this morning, but it's okay. We're gonna get into it because I think we got to talk about false flags. And people are seeing false flags and direct energy weapons in California. Everyone jumps on the side of it. They have to be direct energy. They're not direct energy. They are. You know, UFOs, aliens. They gotta be. Can't be. Everybody knows every damn thing. But, know me. If you know me, I tried my best not to jump on sides because we're all being lied to. It's important we talk about the false flags because false flags get people killed. False flags, they start the wars. Every war is a lie. We are lied into every single war, and we're still being lied into wars. You want to be a patriot? Your place is as a false flag theorist. If you believe that kings and lords have always conspired against us, your place is as a conspiracy theorist. The only other spot is gaslit. That's the only other spot. If they're always lying, You always got to look for the lies. It's very important to do that. I want to talk about Gulf of Tonkin a little bit. Why? Because a lot of people don't really know that it's been proven that we were lied into the Vietnam War. Good old Johnson, treason, lied, killed millions of people, because we didn't have false flaggers back then. We didn't have an internet. We didn't have the ability to look and say something doesn't smell right in this Kool-Aid. Somebody peed in the Kool-Aid. I don't think I'm gonna drink it. It's important to do that. Very important to do that, because when you don't do that, people get killed. Nations get destroyed. I was looking at Libya, right? You know, Libya's oil production is actually supposed to, by 2019, it's supposed to outdo its pre-assassination production.
Talking a little bit.
Why would that be? Why would that be? You know, and I like to blame the United States because I think you got to police your own community as much as possible. I think it's your obligation, if you live in that area, that you need to be the highest critic of the governments in that area. So I highly criticize the American government, Obama and Clinton, for assassinating Gaddafi and destroying that nation, killing hundreds of thousands of people and restarting slavery. Really bad idea. And started on lies. But those lies didn't originate in America, though. Those particular lies came out of France and Italy. Why? Because France and Italy wanted the oil. The same people who pulled America into it are the same people who are fighting over the oil right now, which is why oil production is so high. And so in Italy, you have a proxy war. You got the people who live there, and you got Italy, and you got France fighting over the oil. It's the richest oil nation in North Africa. Because lies work. You know, government lies to us because we're liable. They can lie us into everything. And millions of people die because of it. So I'm gonna take you back into the Gulf of Tonkin. I was looking at a couple of things. And actually, before we go, why the Vietnam War was started on a lie. And most people don't know that. Most people have no idea it was started. You know what? And I have to apologize for something. I try to look at comments and stay on point, and it's getting difficult for me to do that. The older I get, the more gray comes out my face, the harder it's for me to do these things. So I'm gonna try to look at comments as I roll, but it's kind of not gonna be easy to do that. Hillary 2020, Todd, only if we wanna die. only if we wanna destroy the entire world. You know, I think, I know you're joking. I know you're joking, but the thing is, we're in a bad spot. And the only one who can get us out of the false flaggers. I encourage people, don't jump on any ignorant sides of anything. Anytime someone comes up with a theory, just repeat in your mind. The government always lies. The kings and lords, which are what the politicians, prime ministers, and presidents have always been, are still lying to us. Because the only way you get people who are going to work, taking a little girl to soccer practice, taking a little boy to basketball or football, taking the little kids to fencing. Do y'all take your kids to fencing? I don't know. Some of y'all take your kids to golfing. I know. It's good. Diversity is good. Don't get me wrong. But we do things like that because we love to do them. That's what life is about, people. Life is about love. It's not about war, death, and destruction. So how do you take a creature with empathy, a creature that by default puts itself in other people's shoes, and get them to go to war and do some of the worst things that we could ever done? Your lies got to be good. And you need gullible people who will believe the lies. You need people who will believe the president no matter what they say. Because you get them to believe in the identity of these presidents and prime ministers and politicians, and I still see a lot of it all over. I know Brother Todd is joking about Hillary. Most people aren't. Millions of people are not. There was a time where we used to, I don't know if we elect presidents and prime ministers anymore, but we used to elect them. And then after the election, we would go back to watching them as a group, because that's what we should be doing. When you elect someone that's not in your group, right? Because they're never in our group. You didn't grow up around these people. You don't know these people. They wouldn't even let their little kids play basketball with your kids. They won't let their little kids play soccer. In fact, if your little kids are next to the little Obamaites or the Clintonites or the what's his name, Trumpites or the Macronites or the Mayites or the Putinites, and they walk around with their little kids, and your little kid walking out there, they'll be like, oh, they'll pull them next to you. They'll treat your little kid like it's creepy Joe Biden. McCain grabbed his daughter, his niece, and pulled her away because your kids are creepy, you stink, you're funky. They don't really want to mess with you. But we knew that you had a class of elites and lords, our betters, those who came up with prima nocta and all the things, because we were just the peasants and the serfs and the slaves. You'd elect them. We still had that, I don't know if it's cellular memory or whatever, and then we would come back as a community and watch the hell out of them. We wouldn't be gaslight lit the hell out of us and each other with the mainstream media and whatever, and start thinking that they don't lie. But everybody else on the planet lies. Everybody lies. Your wife lies, your brother lies, your sister lies, your kids lie about their homework. Everybody lies. But those who we worship don't lie. And it gets us in a lot of trouble, and it gets people killed. So false flaggers matter. That's why I say don't jump on extreme sides of stuff. If somebody comes up with a theory, just sit down and listen. The kings and lords have been lying to us for a long time. Let me go back here, see if I can get what I want to show you acting right. I was gonna look at the comments as I try to go to. Yeah, Mary said, creepy Joe. Yeah, Joe a little nasty. I wouldn't let Joe anywhere near my kids. It's cutting in and out. Yeah. Well, that's gonna happen. Somebody asked me, why are you still on here talking? I don't know. I think I can save the world personally. And if I can't save the whole world, I'm going to save my world. I'm going to save my local world. I'm going to save my community. I'm going to save who I can. So they shut it off. But this is what I want to show you.
My duties on board the...
All right, there he goes right there. That's the brother. Let me see if it's going to look right there. Check this out.
The seaplane tender were nuclear weapons officer. On August 4th, there was an alleged attack upon the USS Maddox and Turner Joy, two of our destroyers, in the Gulf of Tonkin. The destroyer personnel indicated at first that they were under attack and later indicated uncertainty as to whether or not they were under attack. Large numbers of torpedoes were supposed to have been fired. The ship was reporting itself as continuously maneuvering to avoid torpedo attack. And yet there was also indicated in these messages doubt as to whether or not they were under attack at all. In the course of our conversation, this Chief Petty Officer told me that he was a sonar man on board the USS Maddox and that he had been in the sonar room during the attack. He told me that in his estimation, there were no torpedoes fired at the ship or otherwise during that alleged attack. And furthermore, he constantly repeated this, sent this information to the commanding officer on the bridge.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of 30 Minutes with Ron. I'm Ron Gagliardi, the host of the show.
All right, so we're going to get into it. And so what is he talking about? He's talking about why we went into the Vietnam War. Because of in the Gulf of Tonkin, a destroyer was attacked by three Vietnamese torpedo boats. Let me show you what these torpedo boats look like. I got it over here somewhere. Right there. Those are the torpedo boats. So the report was that there were 23 torpedoes in the water. But that's the torpedo boat right there. You see the little long things on either side of the boat, the three boats? There are 2 torpedoes per boat. And they knew that. They knew all of that. But they thought there were 23 torpedoes in the water. So it was a suspect report right from the very beginning, and they questioned it. I'm going to let it keep going. I'm going to let him give his testimony. The reason I'm playing his testimony is because in order to support your troops, support your kids that they're sending off to battle to kill other people and die and put their life on the line for the kings and lords and politicians, prime ministers and presidents that have always lied us into every single war, the way you support those troops, if that's what you want to do, the way you support the people who die in the countries we send them to murder people, to steal their resources and their land and loot, you listen to the veterans. That's why I say all the time, every time I talk to someone, every time I see a bumper sticker and I got some time, anytime somebody has a shirt and it says anything, support the troops. Supporting the troops is always listening to the veterans. Why? Because they're the ones who know if we were lied to. And guess what they always say? They always come back and tell us that the wars are a lie, that we were lied into them. Why? Not to tell us about that war. It's too late. All those people are dead. No, actually, that's not true. When it comes to Vietnam, people are still dying today. Kids are still being born with massive amounts of birth defects because of all the Agent Orange we sprayed all over there. Right? Everything is connected. We make our own messes. And the reason the veterans tell us these things is so we can prevent the next war from happening, which is what we're being walked into. So anyway, I was going to show you the boat. That's what the torpedo boats look like. There were only 3 of them, so there was only possibly 6 torpedoes in the water. So they knew that. And the soldiers were honest. The sailors were honest. They thought it was a suspect report, but I'm going to let him tell you. Let me shut up. Go on. Let me play the rest of this.
And tonight, my guest is a gentleman by the name of John White.
On August 4th, 1964, 2 of our destroyers were allegedly involved in an attack by North Vietnamese torpedo boats while steaming peacefully on the high seas. At least that is what they radioed to higher command, the Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific and the Pentagon. On that evening of August 4th, 1964, there was no actual attack. It was either a staged event or a coincidence which was compounded by malfunctioning sonar. But the two ships, the destroyers USS Maddox and USS Turner Joy, reported to the Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific that they were under attack and maneuvering at high speed to avoid, at one point they said, up to 26 torpedoes in the water coming at them from North Vietnamese torpedo boats. That sort of report went on for about an hour and a half, and then it was followed by a report which in effect said, oops, looks like my sonar was not functioning properly. Those are false images on the scope. All my previous reports are doubtful. Recommend no action until we further evaluate the situation.
Okay.
That all happened on the evening of August 4th, 1964. The very next day, President Johnson went to Congress and reported that our ships had been attacked while steaming peacefully on the high seas. He didn't say anything, nor did the Pentagon nor Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara say anything about the messages which said, looks like we made a mistake here. Instead, President Johnson asked Congress to sign the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, which his own staff had prepared several weeks earlier, giving him authority to take all due measures to protect our forces in Vietnam.
Okay.
And that event allegedly of our destroyers allegedly being attacked is what propelled Congress into signing the Gulf of Tonkin resolution and giving President Johnson authority to conduct full-scale war in Southeast Asia. My ship at the time was in Japan.
I'm gonna stop there. Now you can watch the whole thing. I can't play the whole video, but I want you to pay attention to this, right? Every war is a lie. We're lied into. And he explained that LBJ went in and lied about it. Right? So they went and they clarified that we were not under attack, that it was suspicious. But LBJ went in anyway. Why? Because war had to happen. It was prearranged. He was ready to go. They already had the war draft that already drafted up. They've already decided well before the Gulf of Tonkin happened that we were going to war. They've already decided we're going to kill millions of people. Now, I'm not going to convince you I know why. I'm not into making things up. I have no idea why. All I know is all wars start in bank accounts. That's what I know. All wars start in coffers, the king's coffers. Wars are always about rich old men filling their coffers and making bank accounts and sending young people to go murder other young people for them. They always have been. Some people will tell you that it had to do with the French in Vietnam and the rubber plantations. Other people will tell you that it had a lot to do with the chemical companies and Monsanto and DDT and Agent Orange. I don't know anything about that. I actually don't care anything about that. What I do care about is false flag theories matter. Conspiracy theories matter. Now, not the extreme ones, right? Not the ones that aren't based on any evidence and facts. You know, we need to stop taking positions on conspiracies. We need to stop being ignorant. And let me show you why. This is the main reason why. Where is my little sister at? The main reason why we need to stop doing that is because of her. It's because people always die. Bad things happen, like we talked about yesterday. When you start a bad thing happening, when you make it okay for a corporation or a government to go in and murder people and steal their land, other corporations jump in, right? And so I don't know that Monsanto and DDT and all that, Agent Orange began a lot of it, and they really wanted to spray chemicals everywhere, and they had those deals already lined up. That's possible. The rubber plantation thing was a real thing. That had to do with, was it, what tire companies that, Michelin tires or whatever? So all of that is true. And we've proven that all these wars are a lie. But the problem is, once you start that snowball rolling, then the Monsantos come in, then the next company comes in, somebody else who can get something else out of that nation, somebody else who wants some slaves, somebody else who wants this, sex slavery comes in, child trafficking comes in, and you got all these industries that pile on. And in a world where money rules, you have all these corporations and industries where they didn't start the war, they didn't begin the fear, but now they have a financial obligation to the SEC and shareholders to make as much profit as possible. And so now they're buying politicians, they're buying the prime ministers, and they're buying interests in these countries to keep the wars going. Like we talked about mass incarceration yesterday. Conspiracies matter because false flags are real, and they always have been real. So we went in there, let me change my background. We went in there and sprayed hundreds of thousands of tons of Agent Orange, bought them and sprayed them on the children, sprayed them on the grandparents, sprayed them on the villages, just to totally destroying the ecosystem, totally destroying the nation. To a place where now today you still have thousands of children being born with massive amounts of birth defects. Why? Because we're gullible. We're naive. We like to fight, right? Why? Because when that person says to you that conspiracy, what do you want to do? You want to prove them wrong. Why? Because your ego. Your ego, you want to jump into it. Why? Because he's always making something up. I want to show him I know more than he does. And so you jump in anti to the conspiracy instead of you stopping and saying, well, wait a minute. What kind of facts do you have? Do you have any historical reference? Is anybody going to die in this? Should I jump on the other side, or could people actually get murdered for my ignorance and my hubris and ego because I want to be right in an argument or a discussion? We need to grow up. We need to grow, and I'm calm. I know it's get on here. Get on, don't say nothing. I know. I drank some coffee. I get upset anytime I'm sorry. I have to show the pictures because if you don't actually look at these children's face, it's hard for you to pick it up. It's hard for you to pick it up. But I know me. I know me. Some of y'all know me too. I wanted to show you this little baby, this beautiful little sister that we have that was born with no eyes. I wanted to show you that because this is the effect of our ego and our ignorance and not accepting the fact that the kings and lords always lie to us, because everybody on the damn planet lies all the damn time. And when half the time, and when they're not lying, they're coerced into lies, right? They get it wrong. And we got to be better than that, because when we're not, people die. And then things like Vietnam happen where people continue to die. And it's all about our ignorance. I have to take this little sister's picture down. I get a little too serious. I get upset. I physically get upset. I mentally, physically, and I will start shouting, and I don't want to do that. I don't think that's helpful. I like to remain calm. But false flags matter. Every war we've been lied into. Every single politician. We don't know what controls and runs a lot of this. All we know is that we look back in history decades later and we find out empirically that it was a lie. The documents get declassified, which is part of why I say one of our solutions is government can't have any damn secrets anywhere. And the thing is, there are those who are lied to, perhaps as leaders. I think sometimes you get leaders in there and they really don't know what they're doing. They don't see conspiracy. They don't realize just how the world has always worked, that you always got an elite few conspiring against the masses and getting them to go out there and kill each other, do something stupid. But false flags are everywhere. False flag, vaccines are false flags. This idea that they all work. GMO is a false flag. This idea that none of them make anybody sick. There are false flags everywhere. I see lies and upon lies upon lies. You know, I guess that's a reverse of a false flag. That these things are okay. Let me show you something else.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere.
It's funny.
Nope, no weapons over there.
Yeah, it's funny. it's funny. Those weapons of mass, they gotta be somewhere.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere.
Meanwhile, 5 million people have died since 9/11. 5 million people are dead. And it's funny. It's funny. Ha ha ha, they gotta be somewhere. We gotta go invade another nation, murder a couple more million people. It's funny, because your politicians don't lie. People worship the politicians, and we need to stop. I like the Bush example. The reason I like the Bush example, because I think he made it very obvious that they're disingenuous. I think he made it very obvious they don't give two damns, and plus because of who his daddy is and who his daddy's daddy is. Now, I'm not going to get into JFK, but I'm going to simply say we still don't know who killed JFK. Well, some of us might. Some of us might. I know. It was a group. One reason. There were a lot of good theories. In fact, Gaddafi gave you one. Whether or not you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. Probably part of why he got murdered. I think he got murdered for a lot of reasons, too. Had something to do with nuclear weapons in Israel. Don't want to believe that. That might cause problems in the world. It might be because Colombia, was it Colombia? And what was the false flag over there? Operation Northwood. The fact that they always lie us into the what was it? A letter the letter that came through that the Joint Chiefs signed that said that they were actually going to kill American soldiers to pull us into the to start a conflict. I think it was, gosh, there's so many false flags. I don't think it was Colombia. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But the problem with accepting the truth is it means it changes the world stage. It means the actors aren't the actors. It means who I think is a good guy may not be the good guy. It means who I think is a bad guy may not be the bad guy. And people don't want to accept that. Something about the truth scares people. Something about the truth means that people don't like to be wrong. They had all the fights around the Venditteri about this is this and this is that, and that's why I'm in this party, and this is my religion, and we're better than y'all. Got my ego going, and I don't want to be wrong. But when nations and groups can get away with murdering the president of the most powerful nation in the world, that means that none of your leaders will actually be able to speak for themselves. Right? Like that was a shot fired across the bow when it killed JFK, because it meant they can kill anybody. I honestly don't think we've had a president since then. We probably didn't have a president in him, but that was the last man of a president. That was the last human of a president who actually stood up and said, no, we are gonna, I want to get into it. They shut this video off. We'll monitor that nuclear plant. I'll let you do your research. I'll post links later, but I already know that there's certain things that when I say things get a little funny, you know, sometimes I can tell it's my bandwidth. I can tell if it's my desktop. I know when it's user error. That's why I used to be, you know, in IT. I'm a little bit of a techie. But when I'm just talking and everything's stable and I'm looking at my bandwidth and everything is good and I'm starting to have signal problems, it's because there's something that they're not interested in saying. I don't think there's a person watching me. I used to think that. I don't think people watch us. I think that's old. I think that's fake news and it's old technology. They've had AI type technologies for a very long time. You know, they have software that keys in on certain words that you say. And when you say it, your bandwidth slowly starts to drop. You start getting diffused. The image cuts off. The audio gets wonky. So I can't really even go into detail. Somebody asked me that the other day. Said, why are you still out here talking about this truth stuff? And a lot of people disappeared. They shut them down, deleted the page. Did Patricia Negron, did she come back? They let Sister Patricia back. I know she's on VK and something else. I try to pay attention. I try to watch The Matrix. I do my best to stay away from certain keywords. I hashtag the way I do for a reason. People like, you know, because my kids, they taught me hashtagging. Like, Daddy can't hashtag. He didn't put words together, not he's supposed to be together half time. And that's if he spells them right. No, I hashtag the way I do for a certain reason. Because when you have too much of that stuff, it's not just audio tracking that they do. It actually is textual. I did a lot of that when I was in IT 20 years ago. You know, textual searching for certain keywords and taking actions and procedures based on those keywords. But anyway, false flags matter because they've been false flagging on us for a long time. They lie to us because we're liable. They do these things because we're gullible. And I like the Bush example, like I started to say, because I think Bush kind of clarified. He kind of made it obvious that what we're supposed to do. And I said, I always like to follow up with what you're supposed to do. Let me show you this. Bush.
As we work with Congress in the coming year to chart a new course in Iraq and strengthen our military
after 9/11
to meet the challenges of the 21st century, we must also work together to achieve important goals for the American people here at home. This work begins with keeping our economy growing.
The economy growing. Because our economy always has to grow. If the economy stops growing, corporations start failing. And the corporations are behind all of this, the big massive ones, not the little ones. So they require that growth or it collapses. That's how a pyramid works. That's how this unsustainable structure of an economy society works. Gotta keep the economy going. That's what the wars are about. They're about massive profits for big corporations to keep that GDP up and up and up and up and up and up and up. He gives you the actual secret of how to bring all of this death, destruction, and devastation to an end. He tells you the economy has to keep growing, and they will do anything. They have to keep it growing, which is why they keep the wars going. Listen to what he's saying.
And I encourage you all to go shopping more.
I encourage you all to go shopping and go shopping more. If the liars, the lying kings, the lying lords, the lying people that don't give two damns about the murdering millions of people for resources and land tell you to go shopping, if they tell you the economy needs constant growth, you do the exact opposite. Why? Not because you're Republican, not because you like Bush, not because hopefully because you're human and you always do the exact opposite of what violent psychopaths say. Always do the exact opposite. Whether Bush was a good guy or bad guy, I don't care. Whether somebody had a gun on his dog, I could care less. If he is in the position, the seat of power, that is based on murdering children and dropping bombs on innocent people, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what that chair tells me, because I know what that chair represents. And the only way we get out of this is as a global community. That's the only way we get out of this, because it'll always get us fighting each other, nation to nation, race to race, religion to religion, because after the shots are fired, it's too late. That's why false flags matter. They matter massively. And I'll post some links after this, because if you don't realize that all these wars were a lie, and after all this stuff gets declassified, we can look back, it's declassified for a reason. The veterans tell us something like this for a reason. It's because they want it to stop. Right? They are citizens of the world. Nothing, I think, makes a person more a citizen of the world is than to send them out to war. When you send people out to war, they come back and they realize that all we did was murder poor people. They reminded me of the people I left. They reminded me of my uncle. They reminded me of my aunt. They reminded me of my nieces and nephews. We shouldn't be doing this. Which is why they don't take care of the veterans in my country. They couldn't give two damns about the veterans in my country. They care about the troops and soldiers. Feed them good. Give them lots of bonuses. Take care of them. But after you go do the fighting and you realize you were just fighting for lies, they don't. Well, some of them they do. Some of them you full service, you stay in because the brainwashing really soaked in really, really good. You really believe in that. You're fighting for your nation and not for corporate greed and economies. They leave them alone. They like them. That's who they put on television. They don't put on the homeless veterans on television. And my God, what's happening around the world right now? Why false flags matter. Outside of Libya and France and Italy fighting over to keep the oil flowing, to keep the spice coming. The EU. What did Macron at what was that? The World War I memorial gave a speech about how the EU needs an army at a World War I memorial. And he actually gave a speech about the EU needs an army. Somebody should have grabbed that man and gave him a nookie. Y'all remember nookies? I don't know. You used to get nookies all the time. Oh, bastards, my big brothers and their friends. Get your noogie. Somebody should just gave him a noogie and got him off the stage. You at the wrong event, dummy. Sit down. This is an event where we're recognizing the dumb things we did to get into World War I. Had the EU having an army is the dumbest thing going. Somebody should have grabbed him off of that damn stage with a hook like they do at that show in New York. The Improv should have got him off of the stage, because this is what's happening. They get the poor people in these countries who've never met sided up against each other because they see money. And that's where they need to take us. So they lied to us. But it's our job to look back at history and say, no, I don't buy it. Don't buy it. I don't believe it. You were lying back then. Why would I think that the economy works any different right now? You're probably lying to me today because you want me to get off of my sofa, turn off Sega Genesis. That's still a thing. Y'all still play? Y'all still play Sega Genesis? That's not. Y'all don't use that no more. That's what we used to play. Because you don't want to get off of that and go fight a war. That's why the kings always starve the population and then they lie to them about who's starving them. That's why it's dangerous in America right now. A lot of poor people here. A lot of people doing real bad. And they don't want to do but so bad. People like to blame the military. I don't. Like I said, I came from a military family. I know how it works. Damn it, I'ma feed my babies. By hook or by crook. Now, we can get this thing together. Citizens act like they got some common damn sense. Stop being so damn naive and gullible. Okay, I can go do construction or something. The poor people aren't going to sit there and roll over and die. When the king calls the order, it's time to go to war after he's starved the population, which is why the Federal Reserve is destroying the value of the dollar down 98%. Why? Because a poor, broke nation will go to war with anybody. For anything. They don't have to lie good. Just put it on TV. Everybody will believe it. All right, I'm gonna go to comments. Dang it. Sometimes I run my mouth. I get to going. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. YouTube doesn't like me anymore. I'm sorry, YouTube. I don't know if anybody's over there. I know they don't like me. That's okay. I love you, YouTube. I love you. I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody but the citizens. Every time you ask me, I'm gonna say, well, who do we blame? Every time I post something, I'll post and I'll say we. I always tell people, what did I post the other day? I got in trouble. I always say we, because it's a we, and people get upset like, no, it's not we, it's them. No, it's a we. It's always a we. We are collective. We caused this. Oh, I posted that. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I hope y'all watched what I posted yesterday. Oh my goodness. Where the heck is, oh, not the Barbie thing. That's great. Did y'all see that? The Barbie thing? Did y'all know that? Did y'all know Barbie came out of, she wasn't American, she was German. Did y'all know that? And her name was not Barbie, her name was Lily. And she wasn't some pretty little girl that had a little Ken. Did y'all see that? She had Johns called John, and she was a hooker. She was a hooker, though. All right, I'm not gonna go there. Truth is stranger than fiction, and I see this stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then they made that a doll and give it to little kids? Like, oh Lord, it's not even about prostitution. That's one of the oldest jobs since the beginning. People can do what they want to do. Now, I'm only against that stuff when people are forced to do it. When they're being starved by their king or lord and they're forced to do crap like that, that's when I got a problem with it. If you're just born that way, that's what you like to do, that's how you want to make your money, it's not my business. I like to mind my own damn business. What did I post? All wars, they start in bank accounts. The wars, they're fought in bank accounts and boardrooms. Massive fighting with sheets of paper and pens and now smartphones. Used to be kings and coffers and abacuses and whatever else. That's where the war is fought. The physical violence, that's just after they find some dummies to roll out the transaction. That's like the end of the war. The war was fought a long time ago at the bank when they determine who's going to get what, divide up the country. You get this, and Italy get this, and France get that, and you do. Okay, we're going to colonize, because that's why I always go to colonizers. All of this is still about colonization. And after they decide all that up, then they find some really gullible, dumb people to go do it. Oh, this is beautiful. I posted something the other day. I posted a link on here. It was a TED Talk by John Hunter. And I'm mad at everybody on my friends. It's every last one of y'all. I'm mad at every last one of y'all. I had to sit here and wait for Pat to send this to me. He is a teacher who teaches the world peace game. If y'all didn't watch it, you need to watch it. It's beautiful. I'll post it in the comments when I'm done. Beautiful. Taking a classroom of children, making them world leaders in control of economies and kings and lords and lands and all this stuff. And I'm not going to ruin it. But he was an unconventional teacher and something beautiful. I almost got a tear out of that one. You listen to that teacher's story. I'll post it. He did a TED Talk. Anyway. Oh, and it was out of his TED Talk that I got this. I was thinking through it. I was thinking that we haven't made the world for our children. Like, we haven't made a world prepared for the next generation. We haven't built anything for them. We haven't made a world for them. Our little babies used to take to soccer practice and football, and we destroyed their world. And we did it for us. We didn't make them a world. We destroyed their world for us. Because we believe the kings and the lords. We love our egos. We love our hubris. We're so controllable. We're so gullible. We believe the ways we're farmed. We believe we're white, and black, and Asian. We believe that we're Vietnamese, and we believe that we're American. We believe bull shizzle about our birth. We are born in a place, and we believe the king's model. We believe the colonization model, that now we're supposed to be in opposition to other people who just happen to be born somewhere else too. And we allow that greed through those corporations, kings, lords, politicians, prime ministers, and presidents to destroy the future for all of our grandkids, all of our nieces, all of our nephews, and all of our kids. And we do it for us. It's not even we get anything out of it. The kings get the coffers. The presidents get the bank accounts. The politicians become millionaires. And who's above them do so much better. We don't get a damn thing but bragging rights at a vendetteria. Bragging rights with your brother. Bragging rights across party. Sick. We like to say we do anything for our children, but we just like to lie, don't we? We like that lie. We like to tell the lie because a lie is important. A lie makes us feel good. Okay, it was cute. Thank you, Brother Harley. It was Cuba. Or Operation Northwoods. Look it up. Do your research. Now, if you just want to jump on here because it's fun, you're waiting for somebody to say something you can fight with, I'm not going to say go away, but you can hang out. A lot of people here, they have their facts together. And they keep everybody straight. I said Colombia. Brother Harley corrected me. Cuba, which is good. And that's what we need. That's what we need. But we got to walk through the facts. We got to stay attached to history because they're always lying to us about all of this stuff. I always say the same thing about JFK being our last real president. Yes, Marilyn, I agree with you. I think he was the last president who actually had a voice. Now the corruption is too deep and the threats are already in place. If you can kill an American, it's like how somebody goes into what was the example? I think the 13th Warrior was a good movie, had a great example. And I'll use that example. So one group of Vikings met another group and they were rivals, but the 13 was the 13. That's why it's called 13th Warrior. You should watch the movie. It's a great movie. But the 13 were the smaller group. And they realized that they needed to show the other group that they weren't no punks. And so what happened is the smallest of the 13 decided he was going to start a fight with the biggest of the bigger group. And so the smallest went over there, started pushing him around. I think he was throwing dirt on him or something like that. Spoiler alert. And the smallest one was a bad little boy. He was a bad dude. And he killed their giant. Guy's probably 6'2", whatever. It's a good example. I'm not even sure why I gave the example. I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. I forgot what I was saying. The other thoughts were coming into my head. You know, but the little one beat the big one. The little one, he showed the bigger group that how powerful they are. The world is a stage, and we're all being played against each other. And I'm gonna remember what the hell I was saying that for in a minute, but I'm gonna look at comments and keep going. It'll come to me. Trish was kicked off for a couple weeks. She's on VK. Yeah, if she's on VK, she was kicked off because she says too many things that are true and she flags the algorithms. And that's why they threw her off. She doesn't lie. She doesn't make it up. She says things that are true. And she'd be on right now. You know what she would be saying right now? I'll say in her no, I can't say it because Trish, she'd get upset and start yelling and cussing. I say it my way. So if you look at the news right now, it looks like Israel is defending themselves. But like I tell you, the Israel Defense Force, there's no D in that. It's an Israel Invasion Force. It's it's the ICF. It's an Israel Colonization Force, okay? They're saying that Israel's defending themselves with a missile shield. I'm gonna show it to you. I gotta show it to you. So Israel's defending themselves with their iron missile shield because the Gazans are acting up and shooting rockets, auto rockets at their country. And they're defending themselves. What they don't tell you is why people in Gaza right now are shooting rockets. They're shooting rockets because Israel staged an action and got dozens of people killed. And so, of course, in Gaza, you're pissed off. Your nation was just invaded and they're shooting rockets, little bottle rockets. But guess what Israel's doing? They have real attacks going. Let me show you this.
Can I get some?
This is why it matters. I don't want to show you that. This is why false flags matter. Why they matter. Because they're picking sides. This is what's happening right now in Gaza. Israel's bombing the hell out of them. Because people believe it. People believe the lies. Imagine for a minute, you're in Gaza. It's nighttime. And all you hear are explosions. You don't know when the next bomb is coming. All you know are bombs are dropping. You got your kids. You're kind of huddled under a desk. You put mattresses on top of them. You're trying to make sure they're safe. You're in your own country, your own land. This is the act of a psychopath. This is the act of a psychopathic government. This is the act of really sick people who were implicated in the killing of JFK. Because JFK wanted to monitor the plant where they were making nuclear weapons. Implicated, not implicated, staged attack on the USS Liberty. Murdered American soldiers. And America did nothing. Killed an American president. Americans did nothing. If we don't even have a sense of ourselves, if we don't even give a damn about other people, we don't care about our neighbor, what are we? How sick are we that we don't even care about anything? People like that shouldn't exist, y'all. That's not people. Those are slaves. How do you live through that? How do you not become a psychopath waiting for the next bomb to blow up a building? They know what they're doing. But America's a special case. Because we know. And we keep funding it. We keep supporting it. We keep sending weapons to these areas. We keep voting for the same party. We keep believing the lying politicians. But they lied us into everything. Everything. I just want to see this last explosion, the one that knocks this building down right across, right there. False flags matter. It's just history. So it doesn't repeat itself. But it's repeating the hell out of itself right now. I feel sorry for the troops being led into harm's way for corporate profit. I do too, Victoria, because you know what? Most time the troops are just kids. They believe in their nation. They believe in us. They believe in the adults that run their country. They believe it when patriots say they're patriot. They believe when the nationalists say they love the nation. And everybody's lying. Sending these kids to go die and murder for corporations and giving them psychological, mental illness, PTSD-like conditions that destroy the rest of their life outside of the lives that they take when they go fight these fights. That's why false flags matter. A friend of mine recently left the army. The reason, she read the Constitution. Yes, Ivana, and that's how it works. But people don't read the Constitution anymore. They don't read the Bill of Rights. This war on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights was successful. So you got millions of people who don't really understand that, yeah, it was a flawed document. Yeah, there was all types of crazy stuff hidden in there. But the core of it was solid. It was about self-sovereignty. It was about leaving other people alone. It was about you have your freedom. It was about freedom from feudalism. It was about freedom from kings and lords. It was about freedom from politicians and federal governments, prime ministers and presidents, because they always eventually turn on the people for their bank accounts and coffers. And they do it today. Macron is a douche. Yes, he is. And he needs to go. Fear mongering and warmongering go hand in hand. Yes, they do. Because if you're a warmonger, you need to monger fear. If you can get the people scared in the media and the news, you can get them to do things. You can get them to believe things. If you can hide their history from them, that every war that they've ever fought, that all of their soldiers died in, were all lies. They were all treason. Every last one of them. Lyndon Johnson, he should have been hung in the town square, and we didn't. So steadily, every president gets worse. Every president gets worse because it's not their choice. We took away their choice. We took away the right. If Trump is a good guy, we took away his right to be a good guy. If he has some ideas. If Obama was a good guy, we took away that right. Why? Because we're gaslit. We don't look at history, and we don't believe that the kings and lords are conspiring against us. We don't believe that they've always lied us into everything. Everybody else lies. They don't lie. We worship them. That's really what it comes down to, is worship. Everybody lies to us. We're quick to call somebody else a liar. We don't. Hell no, we won't call our politician a liar. Why? Because my ego's attached to that, because I voted for that person. VA hospitals are eye-openers for sure. Yes, they are, Linda. They don't care. They're not supporting the troops, and they don't support the veterans. You know, if you're a patriot or you're a nationalist, your biggest angst right now is with your government, and it should have been for the past decade since JFK. They fund all sides of every war. They never lose. They never lose, Victoria. And I'm glad you said it that way. They win every single war. Every single war, they win. We lose every war. Every single war, we lose, no matter who is the president, no matter what party's in place, because the big banks and corporations and quiet people behind all the wars fund both sides all the damn time. History. But people don't like history. They like ego. They like today. They like what they can steal. They like what they can loot. They like their affiliation with the gangs that run these nations. Or they're just scared. Yes, fear-mongering and war-mongering occur together. Yes, they do, Kimberly. Politicians manufacturing consent. Absolutely, Jonathan. And they manufacture our consent. They get people to go along with it. We have to talk more about removing consent. When Macron was elected, it was public knowledge that he represents the banks. Yes, Ivana. And you know, the funny thing is, when Obama was elected, we knew that too. When Bush was elected, we knew that too. When Trump was elected, we figured it, but because it was weird, he was a social media comment thug and a reality TV host, but we kind of suspected it. But people did it anyway. Clinton, oh my God, we don't need to touch that. And people do it anyway because they're fearful. I don't. What was that, Rebecca? I don't. I agree with Rebecca now. Doesn't matter. I was wrong. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter at all who is president. Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter who runs Congress. Doesn't matter who's in Congress. Doesn't matter who's in the Senate. Matters not at all. None of that means absolutely anything to the people who can murder presidents and get away with it. The people that can stage 9/11s and get away with it. Doesn't matter one damn thing. Your brother Al's here, that's what he tell you. You know that's his line, right? He'll tell you who did 9/11. And that nation gets away with it. All the time. All the time. We will let that nation kill our babies. We'll let that nation destroy our ships. We'll let that nation destroy our currency. We'll let that nation drive our wars. We'll let that nation kill our president. And we still send him $10 million every damn day. How does that make any sense? We are our own worst enemy. We are a self-destructing nation. And whatever comes next, we earned it. Let's just keep that in mind. We don't get in front of this thing. I like to be positive, but if we don't get in front of this thing, whatever comes next, holding your babies in the dark in the night, we earned it 100%. Our egos. They should have brought in the Sandman and Bush. They should have, Harley. But, you know, Bush was their favorite. He was one of their favorites. He got up on stage and he gave those lies and made him believable, got his little cowboy talk going on, and people bought right into it that he's some sort of a cowboy. He's a billionaire psychomaniac. But people believe it. The TV, that's why I do green screen every day, brother. Every day. Because if I can make fantasy and magic and fake, so can they. They do it all the time. All the time. The television is the weapon of mass destruction is that television in your cell phone, your laptop, and at home. America will be a real third world country soon. Yes, it will, Ellen, which is it's coming. I mean, the writing's on the wall, Ellen, and no analysts disagree with that anymore. The value of the dollar is gone. Gone. You better enjoy that nice car while you got it now. You better make sure it's nice and shiny. You got that BMW, that Benz in the driveway, because damn it, that's where it's going to stay. When the price of gas hits $20 a gallon, you see what's going to happen. You're not going to be fronting, driving that car, trying to look nice, driving to work, bragging to your other friends at work. You can't afford it. You're not even going to be afford to drive it. And that's assuming your business doesn't close up. Because when oil hits $20 a gallon, you know how many businesses are going to close up? You know how much food is not going to be on the shelves? It actually doesn't take much to topple the American economy. It doesn't take, we're very fragile. We are extremely fragile. $8 a gallon might do it. And then the fun really starts. You ever watch The Walking Dead? Might want to watch that. Might want to prepare. We used to laugh at the Doomsday Preppers. Now, their theories were kind of out there, a little crazy and loopy, but history of the world. History always repeats itself when the peasants are gullible. When the peasants are naive and gullible and the serfs continue to believe and worship their kings, it always repeats itself. So my heart out there is right now, it's out there for the people in Gaza and Palestine, West Bank, that are being shot at. My heart is out there to the kids in Vietnam being born with ailments they shouldn't have, disfigurations. My heart is out there to the people in the Congo right now. You have an Ebola outbreak that's spreading and you can't get help in there because the warlords all have all of the colonizers' weapons, America, France, Britain, UK, all of them, shooting everybody, raping towns. So of course the doctors aren't going in there. So people are dying of Ebola who shouldn't, all because of us. We know better. We know we are a worldwide family, 7 billion of us. We can't seem to act like it. One of our most honest professionals or professions. Oh yeah, the lawyers, right? That's what you're talking about, Victoria. We keep this, and you know what? This is why I say it's the only reason I like Trump. It's the only reason I like him because he's not a lawyer. He's not a paid professional liar. That's why politicians are, because they polish their skills on judges and people and juries for decades before they become a politician. And that psychopathy is really in there. They know how to act. They can put tears in their eyes and they can cry for kids. They can do anything. And they know how to operate on the stage. They can act real well. They can go to the Peace Forum in Paris. Right now you got, well, I think it's over. It's over. I think it's over, right? It's over. The Peace Forum in Paris, where the world's greatest weapons dealers, the world's warmongers and war criminals all got together and had a peace forum in Paris. We are a self-destructive species, and I just don't think, I'm not sure if we're gonna make it. I want to see this again, and then we get out of here. It's who we are, but it's not who we have to be. I talked with Nicole Labresseur about how to get direct democracy. You know what, Stefan? I did an interview with Brother Nick not too long ago, last week. I love direct democracy. I don't think it's an end-all, be-all solution. You know, we gotta have a constitution and self-determination stitched in there. There's some things that you have to do to make it a good solution, but I do think direct democracy is the next step. I do believe that adults can make their own decisions and they don't need to be represented. I think we do need to move forward with decisions like that. A representative model of government is outdated. We don't have horses anymore. We can vote on the internet. and they're removing books from the law libraries as they change our history. Nothing to refer back to. Yes, Deborah, that's what they do. They're deleting our history so we won't know that all the wars are a lie, that all the false flags have driven all of this. They don't want us to know about when people come together, they actually fix the problems. And when they don't come together and they side up against each other, problems keep going. They play the game of battleship with real people's lives. Yes, they do, Mary, and we let them and we vote for them. They bleed just like us. That's what the 13th showed. Yes, Jack, we all bleed red. Israel is the U.S. capital, obviously. Israel might be worse than the U.S. capital, Harley. Israel might be our God. Israel might be our heaven. It might be who our leaders worship. It might be where the bankers are from. I don't know all the links. I know that we shouldn't be a part of anything that they do anymore. That's what I know. Sadly, there's no solution for Israel-Palestine conflict. Oh, Ivana, yes, there is, girl. There is a great solution for that. It's called Don't Give the Killers Weapons. It's called Don't Give the Killers Money. You can ask the veterans. They got solutions for Israel and Palestine. America has the largest military in the world. It is the most technologically advanced military ever. The CIA can do anything they want at any time they want to anybody they want. At any time, we can be G.I. Joe and we can send our heroes in to do hero things instead of work for corporations. We can send the FBI in, we can send in special forces, we can send in the Marines and Navy, and we can bring an end to the Palestinian-Israel conflict any day we choose. The problem is, the people who run our country have already chosen a side. That's the problem. There are easy solutions to everything. At any time, we can be the good guys. But as long as your population is divided right down the middle, you got ignorants on one side and ignorant Republicans on the other side, you don't have to do anything. Any of them want. That's the problem. Our solutions are real easy. Stop supporting it. Stop supporting it and let our heroes go be heroes. We can demand world peace around the world at any time we want. The two-state solution was a great solution. We can enforce that anytime we want. That's not what we want, is it? We want to murder people. We want to steal their land, and that's what's happening. We cannot imagine the terror. No, Victoria, we can't imagine the terror. The things that are happening around the world are just unfathomable. Everything that happened in the Dark Ages was nothing compared to today. People say, oh, well, things are getting better. That's a lie. All we do is we shift the death and destruction. The kings and lords are fighting over the land and resources how they always have been. It's just not on us anymore. That's all it is. We just shift around the world with that death and destruction. Everything in the Dark Ages, like one thing I like to say, Victoria, everything done in the Dark Ages is done today. The only difference is it's done in mass today. And it's profitable today. Back then it wasn't. Now it is. Now it can fill a bank account. All owned by the City of London Corporation. All right, Victoria, speak on it. I don't know all the details behind it. I do know that, they are calling the shots, not us. Book will become obsolete. Yes, Ellen, because there's always got to be a good book burning. That's what censorship has always been, a good book burning. They burn the book so people don't know any better. They're rewriting our history. Yes, they are. Thank you for what I think is one of the most important discussions of truth-telling of the year. You are valued, Gerard. I hope all share this heartfelt when I say peace. I love you, your family, and all who have an ounce of hope left. Well, I appreciate that, Patricia. I really do. I really do. That's all I ask for. I don't ask for money. I don't ask for anything. All I ask is that you take a watch, you share, and you go out and research what the good people on these broadcasts talk about. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Because this is how we save our world. We save our world by focusing on the children and building another world for them. We save our world by being okay with the conspiracy theorists. Because our kings and lords have always conspired against us, and they'll continue to conspire as long as we keep worshiping. Anyway, this is Gerard. Love y'all to death. Y'all have a wonderful day. I will see you around the comment section.